Welcome back to LakePoint Sports. Cory McCartney with you for our game of the day. USA Scout against Warcats Baseball. This is the battle at LakePoint. Excited to get this one going here. Players are currently on the field going through their warm-ups. But before we get into today's action, April is National Youth Sports Safety Month, so we've teamed up with Premier Sports Medicine and Pommy Insurance for a series of videos focused on youth safety. And to kick things off, we have Jessica Bruner from Premier Sports Medicine telling us the role that athletic trainers play in keeping athletes safe before, during, and after competitions.
We here at Premier Sports Medicine can rest assured that our athletic trainers have worked long hours and a long time to make sure that we are prepared for every single emergency that could possibly happen. But what is an athletic trainer? Aren't they the people that work in the gym? Well, actually, we are healthcare providers. We as athletic trainers have been trained to work with lots of different people. We work with our athletes. We work with performance athletes such as MMA, Dancing with the Stars, and Disney on Ice. We work with the military. We work with all types of personnel. And in all of these situations, we know that emergency occurs. So what do we do in those emergencies? We as athletic trainers, we prepare by doing emergency action plans for every single event that we could possibly work. What are emergency action plans, or EAPs? EAPs are documents that we do to prepare. They're going to include what do we do in certain situations, how do we take care of those patients and athletes during those situations, and then what do we do for follow-up care. Some of those emergency situations that we talk about: what happens if there's a cardiac emergency? Where's the AED? Where is the closest hospital? Where are our emergency personnel such as fire and EMS going to come from? What happens if there's a catastrophic emergency such as a spine boarding or a major head injury such as concussion? What else happens? We talk about weather. We talk about what to do if there's a lightning emergency. How close is too much for lightning? We talk about heat illnesses and what happens if we have an athlete or a patient with heat injuries. We also talk about cold and what to do if it's too cold. How do we re-warm an athlete or a patient? All of these things are included in the document that we at Premier Sports Medicine work with our local EMS and fire departments to create these emergency action plans. But athletic trainers do so much more than just emergencies. Yes, we are certified in CPR and first aid, but we do so much more. We work with musculoskeletal injuries. We work with concussions, but we also help educate our athletes on what to do with nutrition and performance. We help teach them how to rehab and exercise properly to prevent injury. We also look at doing things like stretching and how can we prevent these injuries. Athletic trainers are numbering all over the country. We have over 55,000 certified athletic trainers that work all over the United States. We work in different settings, but we all have one goal: to take care of you, your coaches, your spectators, and the officials at every single event. So next time you see one of these Premier Sports Medicine banners or tents up, rest assured that your certified athletic trainer is going to be there to take care of you and any event that you could possibly be a part of.
Welcome back to LakePoint Sports. Cory McCartney with you. Avery Hunt from Prep Baseball, Georgia, here for this battle at LakePoint matchup between USA Scout and Warcats Baseball. Avery, man, as always, good to have you on. I know your mind is a little bit elsewhere. There's a little white ball elsewhere, a little smaller white ball being batted around in Augusta right now. So excited to have you in, take a little bit of a break here and get back to baseball.
Absolutely. It's another great weekend. I think this is probably our best weekend weather-wise of the year so far. So looking forward to a good matchup here as we kind of get rolling and get closer to bracket play this evening. And, of course, it is Masters Week. So, trying to keep up with that a little bit too while we're keeping up with all the baseball action this morning.
So on the mound right now for Warcats baseball is Will Bluter. Will from Nordonia, Will on his way to Nordonia High School. Played for here at LakePoint in the Fall State Championship Prep Baseball event a year ago. Fastball up to 72, got a curveball 59 to 64 range, 5'10", 130 pound. As you can see, right-hander. He's going to start things off on the mound for the Warcats. He's going to be facing a USA Scout team that will lead off with James Vanderpost, followed by Micah Nelson and Brody Connor here in the first inning. Vanderpost going to lead off here, the left fielder. This is, we've talked about before, truly a national team for USA Scout. The roster they submitted for this event, players from 11 different states locked up for this one. Not all available here. They had the Tucholsky triplets who've played for a few of the events for them are not part of the proceedings this weekend, but Vanderpost, 5'10", 155-pounder from Virginia, just speaks, I think, to the volume of kids they have from all over the place making up this USA Scout squad.
Absolutely. They've kind of gotten that national reach. Obviously, they're based close to here at LakePoint. Is what first bat of the game, a little 6'3" put out. But, yeah, they've got the national reach, especially with this 14U USA Nike team. So they're always fun to watch, and, it's always good to see those guys out here. They're here a lot. So
nice play there by Bryson Hall, the shortstop, over to Ethan O'Brien for the first out. And now we will see Lucas Yoder, we'll see Micah Nelson for USA Scout. Micah from Pennsylvania on his way to St. Mark's High School 2028, 5'9", 140-pounder. Watches that for ball one.
Oh, goodness.
Warcats just got done playing Georgia Jackets American. They were 6-2 winners in that one.
Like they had a no-hitter going into the 7th inning in that ball game. So really impressive pitching performance by those guys in that first game. When I was walking over here, they had a no-hitter through 6. Looks like they ran into a little trouble in the bottom of the 7th. Still able to pull out that win.
Going to be a walk, so ground out and a walk. Have our first base runner of the game here in the form of Micah Nelson, and here comes Brody Connor. Brody, 2027, 5'11", 155.
Not sure we could have asked for a better day. I think it's, 70 degrees with a nice little breeze blowing comparative to the last few broadcasts where it's been in the 50s with wind blowing. So.
Yeah, we had some pretty nasty wind here yesterday in the metro Atlanta area. It calmed down a little bit today, and we've talked about this every single broadcast. Wind is just part of the makeup of LakePoint until we get to those really hot parts of the year there in August and September when you are just begging for any kind of a breeze to come through here. But a little more calm today, without question.
Yeah, June and July we're begging for wind and can't find any anywhere. It's like they turn the fans off.
Have a runner here and taking over for pitcher Micah Nelson. Taking advantage of that opportunity to get the USA Scout pitcher on the bench and give him a little bit of a rest before he goes out there and throws his first innings of the game. That's in there for a strike. Nice pitch.
You're talking about the velos from last year's Fall State Championship. He was in the low 70s. We've already seen him pop an 80 early in this ball game. So good to see him kind of progressing up the velo ladder here as he gets older and matures.
1-2, dribbler to third, throws across. Bouncer in time for the second out. The runner's going to take off on his way to third.
Good heads-up base run in there, seeing a vacant third base. Got to second, who's already in motion on the pitch, and got to second base and saw nobody home and used the speed to advance 90 feet. And sometimes, you know, all of it takes now is a pass ball or ball scored away from the catcher. And, you know, that's a 1-0 lead. And sometimes in these games, that's all that matters.
90 feet away from that first run. And now we're going to see Brody Lutz, Brody West Forsyth kid. See him here quite a bit. 2023, he was at LakePoint for the fall battle, fall state championships, Georgia Open State Championship, LakePoint Challenge. Last year's battle at LakePoint, along with March Madness and the Shamrock Classic. So, like so many of these USA Scout kids, Brody is one who has logged a ton of innings on these fields here at LakePoint Sports. Runner's going to take off for second.
Got a runner was safe at first on the throw across there. I thought he was called out.
Yeah, I thought he was too. It looked like the throw was in time. Maybe a little bit of an issue with the bounce there right in front of the first baseman.
USA Scout kind of in business here. Middle of the order up, guys on second, third, less than 2 outs. A golden opportunity to jump out early in this game and kind of give their pitcher some room to work with as we kind of progress into the bottom half of the inning.
Well, an opportunity for them certainly to cash in and get those first runs with runners at second and third.
Good pitch there to even the count 2-2. Let's see if he can shorten up a little bit here with 2 strikes, put the ball in play, and push a run across.
Waiting for Game Changer to unleash itself here. Second base, throw to first, in time. Runner's going to score, though, so USA Scout on the board after the ground out from Brody Lutz.
Good piece of hitting there, obviously, with 2 strikes. Just finding a way to put that ball in play and get a run across. Can't go down swinging or looking there on the punch out. So really good job by Lutz to just put that ball in play.
Here's C.J. Sumner, the first baseman. C.J. made potentially the longest trip of anybody for this tournament, coming from Utah. American Folk High 2028. Watches that one get away, and another run's going to score for USA Scout. So a little bit of an issue there. The pitch got away and able to put a second run on the board. So you talk about heads-up base running. That's now got USA Scout with a 2-0 lead here in the top of the first.
Absolutely. I mean, without him going first to third on that ground ball there, I mean, that's a tailor-made double play from Lutz on the ball he hit to second base in the last at-bat. So really good job on the base pass.
Dribble to short is in time for the third out. But now before USA Scout takes the lead over Warcats, you're watching the battle at LakePoint. We'll be back with more shortly here from LakePoint Sports.
At Academy Sports and Outdoors, you'll always find more fun with great brands at the best prices. More of this, and this. So you can get together for a little of that, and a lot more of that. And even some of that, and that's good. Have more fun with great brands at the best prices. Only at Academy Sports and Outdoors.
You were watching our game of the day from here at LakePoint Sports. This is the battle at LakePoint. Cory McCartney along with Prep Baseball, Georgia's Avery Hunt. 2-0 is the lead for USA Scout as we head to the bottom of the first inning. Lead over Warcats Baseball. Micah Nelson on the mound for USA Scout. Micah, as we mentioned during his at-bat in the previous inning, on his way to St. Mark's High School in Pennsylvania, 2028. Fastball up to 80. Works a curveball 64 to 67. He's going to be facing a Warcats baseball crew out of North Canton, Ohio. Ben Babinek leading off, followed by Lucas Yoder and the pitcher Will Bluter. Babinec, 5'7", 120-pounder, 2028. Check swing, strike. That one's high. Behind the plate today for USA Scouts, you got Joey Odak, CJ Sumner at first base, Noah Hopkinson at second, Derek Wenzel at third, Brody Connor playing shortstop, and then the outfield goes James Vanderpost. Excuse me, Joey Odak playing center field. Brody Lutz behind the plate right now, and then right field is Caleb Oath. 1-2 was the count to Babinec. Skies that one to left field. Going to camp underneath it for the first out. James Vanderpost hauls that one in.
Really good job there, kind of getting ahead in the count and been able to kind of go to an out pitch there to get the fly ball to left field, kind of went in with a fastball. Got in on the hands just a little bit, so wasn't able to drive it over there to left field, and kind of a lazy fly ball.
It was Lucas Yoder, Massillon 2028. Sends the first pitch second, gathers, throws in time for the second out. Making work quick here for Micah Nelson as two are down, and now it's Will Bluter, the opposing pitcher.
Went to the first pitch breaking ball there, maybe in the first inning, just trying to get a feel for that pitch, and was able to get a first pitch swing and a ground ball to second. So, you know, your USA Scout, what, 3-4 pitches in, you already have two outs. You'll take that all day.
Misses low. So are you going to give us the Masters report as we roll along?
I mean, we can if we need to. It's not as windy there today, it appears.
Comes the 1-1. Down to his last strike. Shoots that one into right field, going to drop down for a base hit. Nice piece of hitting there to just flare that one into right field, and Warcats got a base runner. Now comes Jude Haller, the center fielder.
Really good piece of hitting there with two strikes. Stayed with the opposite field approach, saw the ball deep, was able to drive that ball to right field for a base hit, kind of stay on the fastball. You know, with a guy like this with a good breaking ball like he has, you know, you got to stay with that opposite field gap approach with the fastball and then be able to pull the breaking ball.
Mentioned Jude Haller up to bat now, 5'10", 160-pound, Wadsworth 2028. Wadsworth, shout out to sixth grade teacher Greg Stoner there, my college roommate.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Misses high, ball one at 80 miles an hour.
So we've kind of gotten deeper in the spring here. We've kind of saw a lot of arms kind of tick up in velo a little bit compared to our early season events where it's cold outside. Everybody, you know, just trying to get into the feel of the season. Now I think everybody's kind of getting stretched out. So I mean, we're you know, seeing a lot of good velo. I think we had a guy from Clubhouse Baseball from Florida this morning up to 89 in the 8:30 slot. So that's always a fun way as a hitter to start your Saturday
that'll
morning.
wake you up.
It's like, oh, okay, this is what we're doing today. So, but yeah, it's kind of seen it all around. A lot of velo jumps, guys kind of getting loose, kind of getting the feel of things. As things kind of warm up, it's easier to kind of get in a groove when it's not 50 degrees and the wind's blowing.
1-2, swing and a miss. Oh, excuse me, that's now 1-2. One of the little issues we have here with the readout on our technology side is sometimes the scoreboard is just a split second ahead. So it's future telling, but sometimes takes you off your game a little bit.
It's always good that our guys and girls are on the scoreboards as long as they're getting them correct. That's all
right.
That makes our lives easier for sure.
All right, here comes the 1-2. Now there's your swing and a miss. Down on strikes, nice pitching there by Micah Nelson to silence the Warcats. 2-0 is your lead for USA Scout. We're on to the second inning. This is the battle at LakePoint.
Next. Next. Stop.
You got it?
No. Keep going.
Again.
Next. Next.
If you don't pick one,
Oh, you have time. Am I keeping you from your job? Next. I don't even know where I am anymore. Stop.
do we finally have it?
Let's go back to the beginning.
Are you
Your
joking?
electric future customized. The fully electric Audi Q4 e-tron.
Making every second count. That is how I live. And this is how I hydrate. Body Armor Sport Water. Water for the athlete in all of us.
This is ready to go online. Any questions?
Yeah, I got one. How about the best network imaginable? Let's invent that.
That's what we do here.
Quick survey. Who wants their internet to work pretty much everywhere?
And it needs to run smooth, like super smooth.
Hey, should you be drinking that?
It's decaf. Because we're busy women.
We don't have time for lag or buffering. Who doesn't want internet that helps AI do your homework even faster?
Come again?
Sorry, what was that?
Introducing the next generation 10G network, only from Xfinity. The future starts now.
Rolling along to the second inning here at LakePoint Sports. This is the battle at LakePoint USA Scout with a 2-0 lead over Warcats Baseball. I'm Cory McCartney. That's Prep Baseball, Georgia's Avery Hunt. Oliver Heckelmiller going to lead things off here for USA Scout, followed by Noah Hopkinson and Joey Odak. Continuing on the mound for Warcats is Will Bluter. Gets that call in the outside corner.
Even though he gave up the 2 runs in the first inning, a really impressive start. Just kind of, around 80 miles an hour. See the breaking pitch there. He's commanding the strike zone. Just had a little defensive miscue behind him, allowed to kind of get in some hot water. So looking for him to bounce back here, maybe have a quick inning, get the bats back in there and swing a little bit.
We very quickly got Heckelmiller at an 0-2 count. It's a dance out of the way of that as it goes into center field for a base hit. Some swift moves there on the mound from Will Bluter. USA Scouts got a base runner in the form of Oliver Heckelmiller, and here comes Noah Hopkinson.
Really good piece of hitting there, staying in the middle of the field, was able to turn the fastball around at almost an 85-mile-an-hour exit velo. Good moves on the mound to not wear that one off the ankle. So
Noah shows bunt, pulls back. Noah played at Georgia Major Elite last weekend in 2023. Saw him here at LakePoint Sports at the Fall Battle, Fall State Championship, Georgia Open State Championship, PBR Open Battle at LakePoint, March Madness, and Shamrock Classic. So homeschooled out of Alabama, that family making a lot of trips back and forth from the Yellowhammer State here to Emerson, Georgia for baseball without question.
Absolutely. I feel like we always USA Scouts here every weekend, so we're very appreciative of those guys, and they always put a pretty good product on the field baseball-wise, so it's always fun to watch these guys compete and play and kind of develop over, obviously, from the fall to the spring. So
2-0 count here to Hopkinson. Make it 3-0. Joey Odak to follow, and then Derek Wenzel. Wanted the call, not getting it as the runner retreats to first.
Close play there at first. Might have had him if the first baseman was able to hold on to that one. Just slipped out of his glove there. So got to be careful over there at first base. Don't want to run into an out, especially with 3-0 count and nobody out.
3-0, shows bunt again, pulls back. Going to have runners at first and second. So a base hit and a walk. Now Joey Odak comes to the plate with 2 on, and USA Scout already up 2-0 here in the second inning. Saw you talking to Joey ahead of the game, just getting some of the intel.
Absolutely. I mean, we've talked about it on past broadcasts. I think Joey's here just as much as I am with his dad Joe running the organization, and they having teams from 11 to 14. Like, he's here all the time, so we've developed a good enough relationship where we can talk back and forth. So, but yeah, it's just kind of catching up, make sure they're doing okay and everything. So.
Well, he could be doing a little bit better if he can cash in here with USA Scout already up 2-0 and at least one runner in scoring position for ODAC. No outs here in the top of the second inning. I think the towel in the back pocket's a new one. Used to seeing the sliding mitts back there, some batting gloves, but
you see catchers during the summer, just obviously, with it being as hot as it gets here, just trying to keep your hands dry. So you see it a lot from catchers. You don't see it a lot from infielders, stuff like that. But yeah, I mean where we're just adding stuff all the time. You got the slide mitt in one,
right.
Throw the towel in the other, maybe a batting glove, and you just got all kind of stuff going on.
Well, Oliver Heckelmiller's the extra hitter in this game too, so he's not even needing to be out in the field. So
it's just keeping the hands dry.
That's right. But it's a prep baseball towel, it looks like, so I think we have to be okay with it.
Yeah, absolutely.
He's spending some cash over at the clubhouse store, so have to be happy with that. Crystal's got to be happy with that. So maybe we can start a trend here. Maybe that'll be the new thing. Everybody hit the clubhouse store, get a towel, throw it in your back pocket.
Yeah, we'll just do like the terrible
That's
towel
right.
that they have in Pittsburgh for the football games.
Oh. ODAC gets a nice bunt down. It's going to roll foul, though.
Really good bunt there. Unfortunately, just rolled foul.
So he's going to come back to a 2-2 count. As always, another busy weekend here at LakePoint Sports. Got gymnastics going on at the Champion Center, rally volleyball event, ECNL soccer as well. So just another jam-packed weekend. Parking, as always, is at a premium, but ODAC goes down on strikes. That one hits on the outside corner. So one down. Go from laying down a beautiful bunt to watching strike three. And
really good pitch there, backdoored the breaking balls. Just kind of froze ODAC there. I think he was probably looking for the heater. So really good pitch. Now he's a ground ball away from getting out of this.
This is Derek Wenzel. Derek, 2028 from Nevada. So I kind of take it back there talking about a player from Utah and Brody Lutz maybe making the longest commute to make it to this event. Might not be the case. Maybe they rode together.
Picked him up on the plane on the way by.
Yeah, excuse me. CJ Sumner from Utah. So maybe Sumner and Wenzel rode here together. See Wenzel on the mound, 82 fastball, 1933 spin. He's also got a curve with over 2100 spin.
.30 count here, probably an automatic take with a base open. So let's see if he gets anything to hit, or they just let him go down to first, set up the double play ball.
They watch his ball four, so we're going to load him up for Caleb Oath, the right fielder. Oath from Verona, Wisconsin. 6'2", 155 pound, 2028.
There's been a lot of traffic on the base paths here, but if you're the Warcats, I mean, you are one ground ball away from getting out of this inning with no damage. So just kind of pound the strike zone. Trust your defense to work behind you.
The ball's in play. Skies that into center field. Camps underneath it for the out. Runner's going to take off, though, and USA Scouts got a third run as sends that one into right field and able to get the run across.
Good piece of hitting there, putting the ball in play deep enough in the outfield for a run to score from third, and heads up base running again by the USA Scout guys. All three runners tagged up. You obviously always see the guys at second and third advance a base, but usually first base you're halfway. But really good job running the bases there to get the extra 90 feet. Now you still have 2 guys in scoring position.
So Oliver Heckelmiller crosses home and makes it 3-0. And we're back to the top of the order in James Vanderpost. Still got runners at second and third with 2 down here in the top of the second. It gets away. Runner's going to take off for home. Crosses easily to make it 4-0. He's getting away from Will Bluter here a little bit in the top of the second. One thing you could say, though, outside of that last hit that we saw, ends up being a loud out, not a lot of hard contact against him. He's done a nice job of minimizing that. USA Scout putting the ball in play, but not able to really make a lot of noise, but certainly they've been able to capitalize on what they've been given, leading 4-0 here in the top of the second.
Absolutely. It's one of those things, I know we talk about it every week, but, just the free base runners, in these games, they seem to always come back and get you somehow, some way. So, it's about pounding the strike zone, making all the plays behind your guy on defense.
Gathers a second, throws the first, in time for the out, but not before USA Scout jumps out to a 4-0 lead. This is the battle at LakePoint. We'll be back with more shortly. USA Scout leads Warcats baseball.
First one I picked up, I just liked it the best. And like I said, I tried a lot of different companies, a lot of different models, and I fell in love with Old Hickory for sure.
Four to nothing is the lead for USA Scout over Warcats baseball. You're watching the battle at LakePoint. Cory McCartney, Avery Hunt from Prep Baseball, Georgia. Going to continue with Micah Nelson on the mound for USA Scout. He's going to face Barron Exline, Ethan O'Brien, and Bryson Hall for Warcats baseball. Barron Exline, maybe the coolest name I've heard all summer, all spring long so far. Going to be tough for anybody to knock him off that pedestal.
That is a good one. It's a good baseball name.
That's right. Exline, Salem High School 2028. Right-handed pitcher and catcher. 5'10", 155. He's made it out to some showcase events for Prep Baseball. Ohio Scouts talk about a level swing plane, developing the speed and balance finish, gap-to-gap approach. So see if he can make some noise here for Warcats, already down 4-0 in the bottom of the second inning.
The Warcats get obviously get 4 runs back on one swing here to start the inning. You just kind of got to get them back one at a time, get guys on base, move them around, kind of get back in the ball game, and be able to be one swing away from balling the gap away from tying it.
Able to hold on the check swing to make it 1-1. Pitch outside, gets away from the catcher. Now 2-1. $15 pitches so far for Micah Nelson.
Looks like that one got a piece of the umpire. Our guy back there has had a rough day. I think he wore one in the first game off the forearm. Second game, I think he got one in the other wrist, and not sure where that guy got him, but he's going to need an ice bath after today. So he's being tough back there. He's wore a few.
Sometimes you wonder these guys at the youth level, like you should be wearing like body armor. I understand like at the major league level, like you get it. Like these guys are so good. They can, the accuracy is world class. But obviously, the youth level, pad up. It might be hot. That might be the only thing. Skies that one into right field, swirling a little bit, able to make the catch as he gathers, following the wind. One
play.
down.
Really good play there and right to kind of readjust, kind of get your bearings a little bit and make that play. But just kind of going back to the umpires, I mean, I think if I'm umpiring in the big leagues and everybody's throwing 100, I'm going out there and I'm going to have an Evo shield from my shoulder to my wrist, dude. I'm like, I don't want any part of that.
Well, maybe they should be in the mascot costumes.
Exactly. Hey, I love what I would be. I'm not interested in 100 off the wrist, I can promise.
So there's one down, and this is Ethan O'Brien. I'm sure we can talk to our sales department here at LakePoint Sports about, teaming up. Maybe we get some mascots for some businesses in the area, and people can can wear those behind the plate, and we can meet two needs here. We can protect the umpires, and we can do some advertising at the same time.
Absolutely, just throw a logo on the arm of each umpire.
That's right.
All in.
Well, they got to have a Grimace costume or something over at McDonald's that we could throw somebody into, right?
Absolutely. You get Blooper out here to umpire a few
ball
games.
Yeah. Now 3-0 to O'Brien. Watches that down the pipe for strike one. Probably baseball needs a mascot. What would the mascot be?
I think we were at an off-season meeting up here at LakePoint. I think we were talking about it, and some guy dressed up like a baseball head was kind of what we were thinking about. So.
Scouty.
Yeah, there you go. I like that. We'll stick our assistant tournament director, Garrett Anderson. We'll throw him in the suit, make him walk around a little bit. I'm sure he would love that. Yeah. I'm going to leave that one to the marketing powers. I'm not.
There you go.
That's not my specialty. So.
Talk here as the pitch count for Mike and Nelson sits around 22.
As we see a ball come over, looks like from field 9 that has been fouled off as it rolls out towards our field umpire.
I will say the new ball, so new baseball here at LakePoint Sports. It's got the new Prep Baseball logo on it. It looks fantastic. It continues to be the same Mizuno ball that we've had in the past, but has the whole new markings on it with the new Prep Baseball logo. It looks really good.
Absolutely. We got them. We were kind of unpacking some a couple weeks ago, and I think they just kind of like threw them in with the shipment with the old ones, and I was like, ooh, these are nice. I like these, and we got Sean Duncan's signature updated a little bit on there too, so they're looking good, looking fresh.
I'm gonna have to ask Sean how labor intensive that is to make sure he gets that, because I'm sure, knowing Sean, he probably makes sure that autograph is exactly the way he wants it. That's probably version like 30.
Absolutely.
As he sits down and tries to figure out exactly how I want my signature to look on that baseball. That's a big undertaking. Have your signature on a baseball. And
it's not like you're putting them on 15 baseballs.
Yeah.
I mean, they're on thousands of baseballs that we go through here a year, and it would take me a million tries because I would find something I hated about every signature. He has a much better signature than I do. Mine is just like a bunch of scribbles and an A and a bunch of scribbles. So.
Well, the best one's the one that appears in the paycheck.
Exactly.
This is Bryson Hall. Bryson, another Wadsworth product. 3-sport athlete, baseball, basketball, and football, where he's the quarterback. So 2028, 5'10", 175-pounder. Playing shortstop today for the Warcats. Check swing. Talking to Bryson and his dad ahead of the game, and this is his first foray into this version of travel ball. They played at a smaller travel ball program in the Wadsworth, Cleveland, Metro Cleveland area. So down here at LakePoint Sports for the first time. Bryson Hall walks, gives way to Gavin Rhodes. Gavin, Madison Plains 2027, and so that's going to be it for Mike and Nelson. Joe Odak talked to me before the game. Sounded like they were looking around that 20-pitch range for Nelson, potentially saving him as they get a little bit deeper into bracket play. There's going to be some bracket play later on today as well, so you want to save your arms while you can, especially at 4-0. Maybe they feel like they can have a little bit more wiggle room and save an arm they might need potentially when the games truly start to become win or go home. And USA Scout looking to do that as they make a pitching change here in the bottom of the second inning, up 4-0.
Absolutely. I mean, you're looking at probably 4 or 5 ball games on the weekend, and every arm matters. So obviously kind of lost the strike zone a little bit with those last 2 guys. So get a new arm in there, be able to find the strike zone a little bit more, and also just kind of save him maybe for a little bit later in the weekend if you need a lefty to either start a game or come out of the pen late in a ball game to get you some outs.
So here's Derek Wenzel on the mound now from Nevada. Fastball's up to 82 for him, 1933 spin. Mentioned him when he was at bat. He's got a curveball that's got a spin over 2,100. Also has a changeup that works 73 to 75.
See him throw that one and turn around and look at the scoreboard, see how hard he threw it. So just making sure he's hitting the numbers he needs to. Going through our pitching change here. Not sure if you saw the unfortunate news with Spencer Strider that we all pretty much knew that was coming.
This one interesting, though, because it's not Tommy John surgery. He had a brace that's put on the UCL injury. Same procedure that Lucas Giolito went through last month. This one's interesting because, while Tommy John is a full year time before a player is expected to be back on the field, with this brace procedure, it's 5 to 7 months.
Yeah.
So still not anticipating that Strider's going to be back for the Braves in the 2024 season, but that at least gives you hope that he's going to be available to start the 2025 season, which is, obviously changes dramatically how you approach the offseason if you're the Braves, not wondering if you're not going to have Strider until June or July.
Absolutely. I mean, you look at Walker Buehler with the Dodgers.
Yep.
I mean, he's realistically been out, 17, 18 months now since having TJ, so good breaking ball there to get ahead 1-2.
I was reading an interesting article about this procedure and how it's becoming something that not everyone's a candidate for it. Strider had Tommy John when he was at Clemson in 2019, but apparently he goes down on strikes. Nice job there by Derek Wenzel. Get that K. He was a candidate for this version of it, so it's a little bit different. Not the same procedure is obviously would need that much time off. So. This has a 92% success rate of guys who undergo this getting back onto the mound. So I don't know, though, the numbers for people who have already had Tommy John.
Yeah.
That could be somebody where you go in and say, okay, we don't need to do the full reconstruction of the tendon. It's a little bit different. So it's an uphill battle regardless. I mean, there's not a lot of guys who have come back from a second UCL surgery and had a lot of success. Nathan Eovaldi did. He was a big factor, obviously, for the Rangers last year in their World Championship run. Joakim Soria, who was with the Royals, he came back from multiple Tommy John surgeries. That's in for a strike, but you're obviously not trying to get too philosophical here on what's leading to this stuff, but certainly not what you want to see just a few weeks into the Major League season here to have one of the brightest stars in the game going down.
Absolutely. 2-2 count here as he's seen the fastball up to 85 here so far, but it's just with arm injuries in the big leagues. I mean, Shane Bieber too.
Yep.
And it's so many different opinions on what the problem is.
Skies out to right field. We're going to have plenty of time to talk about that as well. And excited as we go into the third inning and be joined by Julian Henson, the co-GM of Memphis Tigers, former recruiting coordinator for the University of Memphis. So I'm sure he's got a lot of things to say here about the state of pitching and the development of young arms. So going to be excited to catch up with him. Avery, man, as always, appreciate it. We'll see you back here in a little bit. We'll be back with more shortly from LakePoint Sports. 4-0 is the lead for USA Scout.
The Windscreen Factory, more than just windscreen. We're a full-service sports facility contractor. We manufacture windscreen for sports and construction, do fence repair and installation, and fabricate field netting and batting cages. In addition to manufacturing the products, we also install upon request. We make safety padding for backstops, rails, and walls, as well as full-service print shop with logo, branding, and signage capabilities. Please call us for a quote today.
Welcome back to LakePoint Sports. Cory McCartney with you. 4-0 is the lead for USA Scout over Warcats baseball. Going to do the slide in here. Julian Henson joining me, co-GM of the Memphis Tigers. Julian, man, good to have you.
Hey, man, thanks for having me, for sure.
Cord thing gets a little bit
I'm
chaotic there. There you go.
We'll figure it out.
All right, so you guys brought a few squads down here for this event. How's things been going for your guys here the middle of the day of day 2 of this event?
Middle of the day, it's going pretty good. Our 14U group had a little bit of trouble, but we've got 2 12s. Those guys are looking to go 2-0, and our 13-year-old group, Johnson's currently winning right now. So everything's going great. Obviously, the facilities are great here, and this is one of the most exciting places to be able to play.
So tell me about your impressions when you saw the new fields. You obviously were on these quite a bit before we did the resurfacing. What did you think, and then maybe more importantly, what did the kids think when they walked out there and saw them for the first time?
Well, from my standpoint, I walked up and, since inception of this place, it's always been top-notch. But when I saw the lighter dirt, when I saw the striping, man, I mean, obviously you got the biggest American flag in the country. I was juiced to be able to be here. The kids are super excited. Sometimes they get a little bit too worked up because obviously they know that this is the mecca of youth sports right here, and getting those guys to be able to calm down and control their emotions is a big deal. So.
Let's talk a little bit about your path. So you were in the travel baseball scene, go up to the D1 level there with the University of Memphis as a recruiting coordinator there, now back to travel baseball. When you go on a path like that, tell me about perspective when you get back. How does perspective change when you get back into the travel baseball scene?
I mean, it's totally different, right? Because when you're in the college baseball scene, especially as a recruiting coordinator, you see some issues, I guess you would say, with when you get guys coming in out of high school and what they need to do and what they're being taught and how much you're having to teach when they get there. So it's a big deal to be able to come back down and understand being in a situation that I'm in right now to be able to help bridge that gap for those guys, right? So when colleges call me, they understand what type of player they're going to get. They understand the baseball IQ that our players are going to have walking in and kind of bridge that gap, because obviously with the transfer portal and all that stuff, it is those players need to be able to find the right fit, and those players coming into college need to be a little bit better prepared for what's ahead, or just like I said, they'll be in and out of there.
Brody Connor up to bat right now for USA Scout, going to be followed by Brody Lutz and CJ Sumner. Avery Hunt and I were talking about, as that ball gets away from him, goes all the way back to the backstop, talking about the Spencer Strider injury, and I think that brings up what's been a really hot topic these last couple weeks in the early start of the Major League season, which is pitching and stress on guys' arms. And how do you guys approach that in terms of a program, in terms of teaching guys to one, get the most they can out of their arms, but also care for their arms, which sometimes I think is what often gets overlooked when guys are trying to run up that velo?
Well, for us, we're a developmental program, so we've got programs in place for our guys in the winter to be able to do their arm care, making sure they're getting their J-bands in, and obviously we have pitch counts and all those types of things to be able to protect our players and our arms. But the biggest thing is clean mechanics and control. Last year when I was in the American, I was, I guess, kind of underwhelmed at how many 88 to 90 guys that I saw with 3-pitch mix and how they just dominated, right? Obviously, being able to have a back-end guy to be able to run it up there in the upper nines is great, but being able to have that guy with 3-pitch mix, it's crazy. and most hitters nowadays, they struggle with timing. I don't know if that's a lack of playing wiffle ball in the backyard or whatnot, but timing is a huge thing. Is either the guy's throwing too slow and then the guy's throwing too hard. So then you're asking yourself as a coach, like, okay, so when do I insert you into the lineup? So being able to teach pitchers and the mechanics and being able to have command of 3 pitches, and as you get in the weight room and get stronger, like the velo will come. Now granted, obviously there's a rat race every single day to be able to get there and try to reach a number, because everybody believes when you hit that number, then you're D1 eligible.
Yeah,
right? But
yeah.
There's plenty of guys that throw really, really hard that don't throw a lot of strikes and they get tugged out of games. So
yeah, and I think it's something you obviously know this, but that's what really separates a guy who can pitch against a guy who can pitch at a high level, is having that third pitch, is being able to be like, you're not just a fastball slider guy, you're not just a guy who can work in that curveball. Can you mess up a guy's timing and have a wider arsenal? And that's what ultimately sets a guy apart.
Yeah, and also being able to use both sides of the plate. As a hitter, if I only know that you're going to stay out over, I'm pretty comfortable, right? And most hitters perceive that they love inside pitches and they hate outside pitches, right? But at the end of the day, if you've got a guy that's got good velo and command, and you don't really enjoy pitches on the inside corner, right? Because you're having to cheat, and when you cheat, then you can't stay on anything out over the plate and breaking balls and off-speed pitches that way. So being able to understand using both sides of the plate and don't make yourself one-dimensional on one side of it.
2 down here in the inning. Brody Lutz goes down here as C.J. Sumner. Again, 4-0 is the lead for USA Scout over Warkats Baseball. Your involvement, obviously, with Prep Baseball also has included the Prep Baseball future games. That's going to be a really interesting change this year, too, as they bring in an older group of kids. I've talked to Shooter Hunt and so many of the guys about this. It's been crazy before, but I think the amount of additional coaches we're going to see from, the JUCO level, from the D2, NAI, there's just going to be so many more coaches here
Absolutely.
for those events, and I just think it's going to take what's already a crazy weekend in one where you can barely find a parking spot to begin with, and it's going to be absolutely wild for those few days here at LakePoint Sports.
Yeah, bursting at the seams for sure, and then the addition, those guys, everybody's going to be shoulder to shoulder and trying to get in there, but it's a great thing that PBR is doing to be able to expand that to more players, right? And that's the whole reason that we're here, is for the kids to be able to get those guys extra looks. But I think the format for this thing is going to be awesome. Obviously, Hunter Martin with PBR Tennessee does a really, really, really good job. So I'm very impressed with him so far, and thank him for sure for the opportunity to be able to represent Team Tennessee.
I think it's great too, because you've watched this process happen where kids were getting locked up when they were in 8th grade before they even played at the high school level. How much change goes into somebody between those, junior, senior, between the junior and senior year, when maybe a lot of the scouting community believes that guy's topped out, that he's maybe not going to get, he's not going to get better, he's not going to get bigger. And, this is an opportunity, I think, for kids that have made progress to kind of open some eyes again and say, you know what, I'm still here, I'm still ready to play the collegiate level.
Yeah, I think it gives players more time, right? Not everybody's the 6'2", 175-pound 8th grader. I know I was an undersized player, and I probably played a little bit longer than I should have, but guys like myself with my stature kind of need a little bit more time, and it also allows the kids to have fun again, right? You bought them 3 more years to be able to make a decision and to develop and have a little bit more fun, and I think that's huge too. Like, there's not that much pressure on these dudes. Obviously, everybody wants to compete at a high level. I understand, but when I look to my right and my left and everybody's committed somewhere, and I'm starting to doubt myself, and that builds a lot of self-doubt, and obviously, the mental strain on the game has on youth players and, guys at the major league level. But I think it's great with the rule change to be able to give those guys more time. And I know, if I was still in the recruiting coordinator chair, I'd really appreciate that more time, because I don't have to necessarily recruit, for 7 straight years out. I get to, focus in on a couple age groups at a time. So I think it was huge going back to the way it used to be. So
gonna have a pitching change here for Warcats. Will Bluter exiting after 2 2/3 allowed. 1 hit, 4 runs, only 1 of those earned, walked 4, had a couple strikeouts through 54 pitches, 25 of those going for strikes. So for people who are listening who, are of that ilk, where they believe that, they want to be recruited at a high level, as somebody who was out there recruiting for a Division I program, what did you look for in a player, both in terms of what they were on field and then the way they presented and carried themselves off the field?
Well, obviously on field, guys with high baseball IQ go a long way, right? If I show up at the ballpark, obviously I know that you can play, but now I'm starting to look at those intangibles, because at some point in time, we all find ourselves in a room with a lot of talented people, and now I've got to figure out a way to be able to separate myself, right? So as that guy running it out, how does he take his round of in and out? Because if I show up at the ballpark, I might not see you get a ground ball hit to you at all. So being able to go through the process and understand how important it is to prep yourself for what you're getting ready to do, And just like I said, are you reading dirt ball reads? Because that extra 90 is huge at the next level, right? Do you have a plan at the plate? Not just a guy that's just, trying to leave the yard over and over and over again, which there's a time and place for that, but situational hitting's huge. How do you handle failure is probably the biggest thing, right? Because everybody loves everybody on their best day, but on their worst day, how do you do? Are you a good teammate after that? Or are you a guy that sits in the back of the dugout and sulks, and then that transfers over to your defense, and you make an error, then now you're bad on both sides of the ball? And another thing is guys that take huge pride in their defense, because it's really tough to lose if you don't give up anything. And being able to have guys that take pride in their defense and get after it and bust it down the line, those things are huge, right? And playing with energy, not emotion, right? There's a big difference between playing with energy and emotion. Those guys that play with emotion, just like I said, on a bad day, they're done for. Those guys that play with energy, they can keep a little bit more of an even keel, and high effort guys are definitely a plus at the next level.
What did you enjoy more? Taking a guy that you knew, okay, that kid can do this, he can play at this level, and go in and have him prove that, or maybe that kid that maybe a lot of people didn't believe in, and you get him into a program and you help him become something that you think he can be? I think
especially at a quote-unquote a mid-major university, right? I think being able to see the guys that people overlooked a little bit, and then he comes in with a little bit of and this is a high school player I'm talking about, coming in with a little bit of a JUCO edge, and understanding that he's got a lot to prove, and then getting in and with player development and stuff, which I love more than anything else, and seeing that guy shine, right? Because then that guy's known that he's earned it, and that's some things that, the youth now don't always get. Sometimes a lot of things are handed to them, but those guys that earn it, and then they get it. They really understand what the game's about.
That one into left field, scores another run, is going to make it 5-0 for USA Scout here in the top of the third. We've got junior college Georgia Highlands right up the street, so I understand that JUCO edge and guys trying to, to prove that they belong at a different level. How did you approach the JUCO player? I think, so often, maybe that's even because of the transfer portal, maybe those kids are even getting lost in the shuffle maybe than they were previously.
Well, the way we approached it JUCO-wise was, what are our needs roster-wise? And those guys have to be able to come in and contribute immediately, right? We're not going to get a guy just to have a guy. We need a guy that can come in right away. You've been in it either 1 or 2 years already. So we're looking for more polished guys, and sometimes, obviously with that level, those numbers can kind of fool you a little bit as a college coach. If you just look at it on paper, you're like, oh man, this guy gets after it. So you really have to go down and bear down on them for a couple days. Normally they're double headers, so that's pretty easy to do. And understand what your roster's looking for, how they're coached, how they get after it, and then just making sure that guy's bringing the edge. Right, he's got to have the edge. There's not a lot of prima donna dudes in JUCO ball, but some guys can fool you, but they've got to have that edge. And the biggest thing when those guys do land on campus, can they keep the edge? Right, you always have to kind of whisper in those guys' ear every now and again and be like, hey man, remember where you came from, bro. You know what I'm saying? I know you just got 10 pairs of Nikes and this, that, and the other, and the clubhouse is way better and you're around higher talented players, but don't forget that. Keep that edge, man, because this isn't the last stop. Right, there's another level after this, or multiple levels after this, so you're trying to get there, so keep that edge and play hard.
Noah Hopkins goes down on strikes to Ethan O'Brien. 5-0 is the lead for USA Scout. We'll be back with more shortly. You're watching the battle at LakePoint.
Next. Stop.
You got it?
No. Keep going.
Again.
Next.
If you don't pick one.
Oh, you have time. Am I keeping you from your job? Next. I don't even know where I am anymore. Stop.
Do we finally have it?
Let's go back to the beginning.
Are you
Your
joking?
electric future customized. The fully electric Audi Q4 e-tron.
Making every second count. That is how I live. And this is how I hydrate. Body Armor Sport Water. Water for the athlete in all of us.
This is ready to go online. Any questions?
Yeah, I got one. How about the best network imaginable? Let's invent that.
That's what we do here.
Quick survey. Who wants their internet to work pretty much everywhere?
And it needs to run smooth, like super smooth.
Hey, should you be drinking that?
It's decaf.
Because we're busy women.
We don't have time for lag or buffering. Who doesn't want internet that helps AI do your homework even faster?
Come again? Sorry, what was that?
Introducing the next generation 10G network, only from Xfinity. The future starts now.
Welcome back to LakePoint Sports. 5-0 is the lead for USA Scout over Warcats baseball. This is the battle at LakePoint. Nice diving catch there in center field for the first out. Cory McCartney joined by Memphis Tigers co-GM Julian Henson. Tell me a little bit about the role of a co-GM for a travel program. What's the day-to-day like, and what's the kind of overarching responsibilities for you?
Well, so Andy Cook was the president of the Memphis Tigers, and he was a former big league pitcher with the New York Yankees, and his day-to-day job is he's the president of the trust branch of a bank. So me and him are taking over, co-GMs as a title when I got in, and honestly, like, the day-to-day for me is, keeping up with my coaches and players. I pop out to practice on the regular. Obviously, I have a lot of admin work on the front end, making sure all of that's right. But the biggest thing is for me, I've really kind of just monetized how I want baseball to be played, right? So I've probably got a 50-page PowerPoint. I'm breaking down how we want baseball to be played. And just like I was saying earlier, that kind of helps, college coaches be able to call and understand exactly what they're getting when they do decide to take a high school player. So, bump plays, how we throw it around, introducing ourselves to umpires, base running, 2 outs, all that stuff is laid out on paper for our coaches. And I think that's a big deal because that's how it looks at the next level, right? You get to college, that's what it looks like. Everybody knows exactly what you're supposed to do, and that's how you hold people accountable because obviously as humans we forget when we talk, right? But if I take the time to put it on paper and hand it out to people, then we know what it is, right? Our standards and how we approach the game and what we're going to do. So checking in with coaches, going to practice. I do not coach a team in the spring. I coach a team in the summer. So I'm able to bounce around all 25 of our youth teams and keep relations. And I was talking to a dad just a little bit ago, and people are always asking about with my background and connections, are we ever going to take this thing to a national level and this, that, and the other. And I was a part of the Doolin Dodgers prior to that, and we were national with a regional base. And I think that's the best thing. Me being able to talk to college coaches about who these kids are, because we spend so much time with these players when they get to college campuses, like we're like their dads, their uncles, their brothers, all of that, because we're spending all day with each other trying to find a way to get 1% better every day, and understanding who each one of my players are, who their families are, how they work, how they function, to be able to find the best fit, right? Because obviously every year I think somewhere around 3,000 players are trying to jump into the transfer portal, and that means that was 3,000 mistakes, right? Because someone rushed to be able to go somewhere without really doing the homework and the background work to see if that program's a fit for them. And that's one of my major goals here as well, is being able to really help in the recruiting process, because I've been in the chair, right, and I understand how it really works, and making sure that people are taking the time to figure out everything about a program, and making sure the school's figuring out everything about a player so it's a good fit, right? Because I don't, just like I don't like players that jump between 8 different travel clubs, like I'm sure college coaches want someone that when they get there, they chose that place, they want to be there, and they're 100% all in. Even when it goes bad, they're all in. So I think that's the biggest step for us, is to be able to really get in the groove with that and understand how it works and finding the right fit, not just chasing a certain logo.
1-1 count here, puts that one into play. Skies in the left field, camps underneath it, makes the catch to get out of the inning. 5-0, still the lead for USA Scout. We'll be back with more shortly. Cory McCartney and Julian Henson, co-GM in the Memphis Tigers.
At Academy Sports and Outdoors, you'll always find more fun with great brands at the best prices. More of this, and this. So you can get together for a little of that, and a lot more of that. And even some of that, and that's good. Have more fun with great brands at the best prices. Only at Academy Sports and Outdoors.
Back at it here at LakePoint Sports. This is the battle at LakePoint. Cory McCartney joined by Julian Henson, co-GM of the Memphis Tigers. 5-0 is a lead for USA Scout over Warcats Baseball. Continue to see Ethan O'Brien for Warcats here in the top of the 4th inning. Tell me a little bit about how you guys handle development of pitchers for events like this. And certainly, you know, we saw USA Scout start off with Micah Nelson. He throws about 22 pitches. They're looking to certainly save him, but an opportunity for them now to work some different arms into this game as it wears along and they're up 5-0. How do you guys kind of view later in the game? Is it locked down? Let's look to a kid who, you know, maybe this is an opportunity to see what he's got in a game situation. How do you guys handle those?
Well, it starts with preparation, right? Understanding who your opponents are going to be, understanding your staff. That way you can set your pitching up to be able to do it, right? So sometimes when people just show up and say, hey, you know, this is game one, this is how it's going to go, and then they start a guy, stop a guy, start a guy, stop a guy, that can be unhealthy for the arm. So being able to do a little bit more prep work on our end, and obviously everything's online so we can see, you know, how many runs a game are these guys scoring, you know, how many left-handed bats they have. It's a better right or left-handed matchup for us. And being able to say, hey, man, here you go. You've got this game. This is your game, and you know, having certain roles as a starting pitcher and guys that are, you know, that are mid relievers and backing guys, just how it is at the next level. So we really take that approach. So that keeps everybody's expectations where it should be when they know what role they're going to play on the front end. Now, granted, sometimes you can come out here and have a plan and get punched in the mouth, and then you got to flip it, right?
That's right.
But for the most part, we approach it with a really, really good prep work on figuring out who we're playing, having roles for our players, and then keeping those guys in spots that are comfortable. And every now and again, you know, getting uncomfortable is good too. So, but you know, we've got pitch counts, we've got pitch limits. Sometimes we don't let guys roll over 35 and then try to show up the next day. So if a guy gets in a little bit of trouble, paying attention to pitch clock or not pitch clock, but pitch count, and then if he runs over a little bit, then he's got to understand that that's his game, right? Just to be able to stay safe and keep everybody healthy, because, you know, even though this is the youth model, we want guys to be the best 14, 13, and 12-year-old pitcher, but at the end of the day, we want those guys to be really good at 17 and 18 too. So sometimes making a tough call for the player's safety and not having them go back out there, or after a long rain delay or something like that, shutting them down and just being okay with it. And guess what? If we lose the tournament, we will lose the tournament, but the arm is safe, and sure, some people might get frustrated with it, but it's also our job to be able to communicate that so everybody understands.
Joey Odak up to bat right now for USA Scout as he watches that in. Yeah, that was pretty gross breaking ball there from Ethan O'Brien. O'Brien, we've got him listed with a 72-mile-an-hour fastball, but that was a pretty wicked breaking ball, and goes back, sends that one in left field, and that's going to drop for a base hit. Odak on to lead things off for USA Scout here in the top of the 4th. He's on his way into second base.
Absolutely. That was a great piece of hitting, but the biggest thing is he was hard out of the box and wasn't going to settle for just one. I hope the player's okay. He looks a little bit down, but hustling out of the box, man, I think the guy in left field kicked it a little bit, but he might have stuttered a second, and he was off to the races in the second. That's well played, and that's another thing that we're looking for, right? That extra 90. How do you find it? You find it with hustle.
Well, Odak standing on second base, gathering himself, and his dad, Joe, not even coming out to check on him. He's like, kid, just get up and move on. That's what happens when your dad's the coach, right?
That is exactly what happens. Sometimes for the worse, sometimes for the better.
Here's Derek Wenzel. Derek's been on the mound for USA Scout, taking over the pitching duties from Micah Nelson. We've talked about, you mentioned people wanting to talk about taking a program national. There's representatives from 11 different states on the USA Scout roster going into this event. But, you guys being in Memphis, with LakePoint not being that far away, I mean, you can almost, there's the sense of it being national without you guys having to take it national just because you can play in so many events here.
Absolutely. So our location, very, very convenient in the tri-state area. Obviously, the very far southwest corner of Tennessee. Arkansas is literally across the bridge. Mississippi is 15 minutes south of that. Some parts of Kentucky are an hour and a half away. And then you've got Missouri right there as well. So we're in a very convenient spot to keep it regional based, but also touch a lot of states all at the same time. So we're in a great location, and just like I said, the facilities, the way the umpires carry themselves, the organization of this thing makes it well worth the trip every single time. It's about the way I drive is probably about 5 hours and 15 minutes, but I think on the on iMaps it's probably about 5:45, 6.
You got a couple Buc-ee's along the way you guys can stop at.
Absolutely. I've yet to cave and buy a T-shirt, but it is a it is a gas station on steroids for sure. I think there's like 60 pumps there. That's kind of crazy.
Last year at Christmas, me and my boys bought the Bucky costume, the Christmas version of the Bucky costume. So
absolutely. Yeah. It's always fun to keep it weird with the family.
That's right.
A little bit. Absolutely. Come on.
Do what you got to do.
That's it.
Skies that one into. Unfortunately, our camera's not going to cut over. It makes the out, but Odak's going to stay at second base. It's going to be one down, and here comes Caleb Oath. Caleb from Verona, Wisconsin. According to Game Changer, he just flied out to right field, so sometimes you got to rely on the parents that are seeing it from the field level.
Mixing in with the high and inside right there. I think base running too is huge. I mean, we as coaches get upset when base running goes bad, but are people actually really putting in the time to be able to do it? And I'm going to go back to me monetizing and putting things on paper. Every time one of our teams has BP, it's set up in groups, right? So we've got a bunt station, right? We've got obviously the guys that are hitting in the turtle or in the cage or whatever, and then we've got a base running group, right? So and then you've got a shag group, right? So you've got 4 people that keeps people from standing around, right? Because you really have to prep for practice to make sure that you're getting your 2 hours are worth it. So you sit there, you break that thing down, and as these guys are going, you might have hit and runs or just reads here, or you might have a 2-out lead here at second base, and you might be going on contact right here, and then those guys are getting live reps over and over and over again. So you got defenders getting live reps, you got base runners getting live reps, you got hitters getting live reps, and just really just focusing on the practice plan is huge, man. I'm a big process guy, right? I'm a coach, right? So I guess that goes with it, but just trying to bleed that into everybody within the organization or anybody that's listening right now, just trying to figure out a way to keep practice interesting and also get as many live reps in a hour-and-a-half span or 2-hour span as possible.
See O'Brien go to a 61-mile-an-hour curveball, then comes back with that fastball at 75. Probably looks like it's about 95 after he hit you with that curveball.
Absolutely.
So nice piece of pitching for the second out. So now back to the top of the order for USA Scout, and James Vanderpost swinging a miss.
Man, that fastball's got a lot of late life to it too. I mean, the catcher's set up all the way on the inside corner right there, and that thing bled out to the outside corner.
Be a good spot for that breaking ball, and it does go to it. Unable to get the call though. Got some nice shape to it without question.
It's big. But I mean, he's got great mound presence. He's got good tempo. He's coming right after guys, not a lot of walks. Left that one behind a little bit. One thing that I think I've missed, body language is a big deal too, right? Like, can kids and players find a way to stay even keel, right? If they can do that, it doesn't matter if they're playing in Japan or LakePoint or at Tennessee, I mean, you're just competing and doing the best of your abilities in that given time. And that's another thing. That's what competing really is. It's not about winning or losing. You're giving your best effort no matter the situation or the circumstance.
Yeah, we always say it's so easy to flush away failure, but you're not necessarily a 14 to 17-year-old trying to do it on the mound with a bunch of people watching.
That's exactly right.
Shoots that one into right field. Another run's going to score as Odak crosses the plate. Now 6-0 for USA Scout. Nice piece of hitting there as he just flicked that one into right field for an RBI single.
Another aggressive turn right there, just in case if there's any mishaps where he sits back, he's ready to roll to 2.
So 1 on, 2 down for Micah Nelson. Micah started things off on the mound for USA Scout.
Left on left matchup. You think he starts him off with the breaking ball here? Uh-oh.
Yeah, we haven't seen the move over to first yet from O'Brien. Skies that foul. So how much did you get involved with the uniform selection process? That may be when you start putting a team together, the kids want to know who's on the team, and then they want to know what the uniforms look like.
Well, so we have Media Day in the winter.
Yeah,
right?
I saw the pictures. There's some cool shots from that. Yeah,
so our social media director, Kindley, does a great job with all of that stuff. So we have Media Day, and, we kind of flash what our uniforms are going to be. Right in the fall, we keep it not basic. Kelly green, it's not basic color, so I don't want to say that, but we kind of wheel things in a little bit, and then we have a social media post that pops everything out, and got the little smoke and mirrors a little bit, guys acting tough. We've got the grit belt as well that we carry around. That means a lot to us, and grit's something that Coach Carrick challenged me last year as a coach to kind of figure out what my philosophy is, and you put it into a word and kind of break it down. And I came up with grit, growth, resilience, initiative together. So that's what that means. It's on our hats, it's on our sleeves, and really being able to build the right culture, which a lot of people miss out on. I know the Miami Heat have heat culture in the middle of their court, and that means a lot, man. Just being able to have guys bought into exactly what the mission is. And, always coming up with a tough, cool word like grit is a big deal. But back to the uniforms, trying to figure out something that the kids like. The kids love pinstripes, right? Obviously, we want to keep it traditional with our power tee that we've got going on here, the Tiger script, and we also have Memphis. But we've got a really, really unique color scheme with the Kelly green and gold, kind of like the Oakland A's, but the Oakland A's are a little bit darker, so I guess it'd be more of an Oregon duck, which I think they're apple green, and we're Kelly. But with this being my first year in the chair, we've got some exciting stuff coming down the line, and appreciate Evo Shield for being able to outfit us for sure in that. But no, I'm excited to be able to have a great time with our color scheme. I don't, call myself a flashy guy by any means, but I got a little swag to us. So especially with these cool colors, it helps a lot. So definitely be on the lookout for what the Tigers have coming up in store, uniform-wise.
Nelson sends that one foul. I think he got shook up there and had to come out and have a little talk with the coaches, but he's staying in there and flicks that one foul.
Can he hang in there on this breaking ball?
Yeah, 2-1 count would be a good place to throw it here and get some weak contact. Gets exactly that. Dribbler to second base, gathers, throws in time to get the out. 6-0 though is the lead for USA Scout. We're through 3.5 innings. We'll be back with more. You're watching the battle at LakePoint.
Next. Stop.
We got it?
No. Keep going.
Again.
Next.
If you don't pick one.
Oh, you have time. Am I keeping you from your job? Next. I don't even know where I am anymore. Stop.
Do we finally have it?
Let's go back to the beginning.
Are you
Your
joking?
electric future customized. The fully electric Audi Q4 e-tron.
making every second count. That is how I live. And this is how I hydrate. Body Armor Sport Water. Water for the athlete and all of us.
This is ready to go online. Any questions?
Yeah, I got one. How about the best network imaginable? Let's invent that.
That's what we do here.
Quick survey. Who wants their internet to work pretty much everywhere?
And it needs to run smooth, like super smooth.
Hey, should you be drinking that?
It's decaf.
Because we're busy women.
We don't have time for lag or buffering. Who doesn't want internet that helps AI do your homework even faster?
Come again?
Sorry, what was that?
Introducing the next generation 10G network, only from Xfinity. The future starts now.
We are rolling along here at LakePoint Sports. USA Scout has a 6-0 lead on Warcats baseball. You're watching the battle at LakePoint. Cory McCartney joined by Julian Henson, co-GM of the Memphis Tigers. We're going to have a pitching change here for USA Scout as they'll now turn things over to James Vanderpost on the mound. Vanderpost, load the intel on him as we pull up the baseball content out of Woodgrove High School in Virginia, 5'10", 155-pound, 2028. So we'll see what he's able to do here. Warcats looking to just get something going offensively. They kind of held at bay right now. They've just one hit for USA Scout as they've taken a 6-0 lead, able to capitalize on some walks. So Lucas Yoder up to bat now for Warcats, going to be followed by Will Bluter and Jude Haller. Watches that in for a strike, 76.
I like his three-quarter arm slot, a little late tail with the two-seamer there. Which is a little different, right? Most outfielders are a little bit more traditional throwers, and this guy's got a nice slot. Move it from left to right.
Yoder 0 for 1 on the day. Extra run on that makes it 1-1.
Look how comfortable he is, though. You know what I mean? Like, that's preparation. And getting in there, throwing your extra bullpens as that one gets away from him. But getting there and being on top of the mound often, not always throwing, if it's water bag, doing something, but just setting yourself up in a position to be able to succeed when it's time to play.
When you get a team, though, that has, kids from all over the place and they're coming together and they don't get to play a lot together, I'm sure, James, if he's playing, playing for the team he may typically play for, he may be a starter. But in this situation, he's got to come in and be in a relief situation. Guys just go through, guys go through different preparation when they know they're going to get the start as opposed to when they're going to just jump in and have to go into a relief role. So for some of these guys, when they're starting to play it at a higher level in travel baseball, that could be an eye-opener.
It really can be. But again, how do you prevent that kid from having that eye-opening moment on the mound is by preparation, right? Like, hey, I know you're flying in. Really appreciate you picking up with us this weekend, but this is the plan for you, right? And then that way that guy can wrap his head around it a week out, 2 weeks out, whatever it is, and understand, like, hey, man, you're going to be more of in a reliever role. And then, which a lot of, it's super tough, right? And it all depends on your roster size. But I just really wish people would give kids more of an opportunity to prepare in the bullpen. You guys got bullpens down both lines. I mean, they're unbelievable, but they're rarely used the way that they should be besides for the starting pitcher.
Yeah.
So if you know that this guy could be in relief, or if he's the first sign of trouble, then allow someone, if you utilize the EH a little bit more, right? Be able to have a guy that's more of a utility guy go out to the position that he was in. Allow that guy to go hit the bands. Allow that guy to go play catch in the bullpen, throw some balls off the mound instead of going, hey, man, come on out of right field. Sorry, first and second, game's tight, go get him. And then he's not prepared for that, just like you said, if he's a starter. So, I'd love to be able to see people prep just a little bit more and, being able to utilize that EH and send those guys down the line about an inning or so if you paid attention to the pitcher in your arm enough to know that he's starting to labor a little bit. Now, there's situations where a guy goes down and then all of a sudden, like, oh, man, this is the next best guy. And, the umpires tend to give them a couple more pitches to be able to do that. But it all literally goes back to prep. Man, I really hate to see that guy sitting in center field like that. That's a tough look if I'm on the other side of the chain link looking for guys. So, making sure we can either stand in your feet and have a conversation with your buddies out there, but that's tough unless he's stretching. Looks like he's actually stretching. So there we go. We're
there
good.
You go.
We're good.
Yeah, I mean, to kind of take it back to that point with the pitchers and getting jumped to a game. I mean, I remember having conversations with Tyrell Jenkins, who was the Braves minor league pitcher of the year. He gets moved up to the major leagues. It's not working. They send him back down to AAA to become a reliever. He'd go in. I mean, remember his first couple of times going in as a reliever, he got rocked, and he told me, he's like, I'm just not used to this. I'm not used to going through it because I'm used to my pregame routine, my bands and, my throwing routine that I go through. And now all of a sudden I don't know when I'm going to go into a game, and I don't know, how much time I'm going to have to prep for that opportunity. It's just a mindset thing. But as you mentioned, it's all preparation. And certainly, at this level, you got to be ready for anything.
Yeah. And also I think especially guys mid to late relievers, those guys are a different breed.
Yeah.
They're a little weird. Jason Mott actually coaches a high school in Christian Brothers High School in Memphis, and obviously he was the closer when the Cards won the World Series. And he is a different breed. That guy's ready to go at any moment. Like it's crazy. He's the head coach. He's going out there. He's grabbing bats for the guys. Like he is nonstop all the time. And a starter that, knows that they're going to throw on a certain day at a certain time every single day.
Yep.
Don't have to show up at the ballpark at this time, show up a little bit later, do your thing, do your routine. It's totally different than saying, hey, man, all of a sudden, we were up 3-0 and we walked a guy, the next pitch went out, you're up. Like, come on, dude, you got to go. Like, you got a mound visit and back. And then we're going to look down there again and then make a phone call. Catcher's going to go out, come back, and then all of a sudden you're back in there.
Jude Haller now up to bat for Warkats, threatening now. They've got 2 on with no outs here in the bottom of the 4th, trailing 6-0. Day when not a lot's gone right offensively for them, but certainly an opportunity here. They've got 2 on, and maybe a change here as Vanderpost not really able to locate like he wanted to, so we are going to see a pitching change for USA Scout. And I think an opportunity, so think about that situation, right? You go in and get the kid. You're not telling him we don't want you to pitch for us. It's just let's maybe utilize you a little bit later, and maybe he gets an opportunity to pitch when they get into bracket play. And if things aren't working right, don't give him too long to try to figure it out, because Freddie Gonzalez always used to tell us guys only have so many bullets, and if you believe that, you're not going to leave a guy out there to kind of work through his struggles in a game that you're up 6-0.
That's exactly right. That also kind of goes both ways, right? Then when you got a guy that's been in there and started, he's gone through the 6th and doing a fantastic job. Sometimes he's done his job and now it's time to hand it over before that guy goes out there and loses confidence because he loses the game because of fatigue. So 100%, like, when you go out there and you have those mound visits with those guys, and inevitably it is competitive baseball. If you didn't have your stuff that day, right, don't sulk about it. Figure out what you did wrong, right, and then let's go back to the drawing board and try to figure this thing out and go try them again next time, right? So that's huge for those guys, not to just take it uber personal, like, oh, coach is taking me out. No, we're just not getting it done right now, and that's okay, right? We're still in a good position. Hand it off to your buddy. This is a team game, right? Pitching staff, it's a collective unit. And Coach Jay, last year at Memphis, now currently at Missouri, did a great job of letting those guys understand that they're on a team, man. You don't always have to do it, right? And that takes a lot of pressure off those guys as well. Like, hey, I don't have to be perfect right here. I know someone's got my back. I don't want to fail. I'd love to be able to go out here and shove, but some days I just don't have it. And I got to hand the baton off.
Yeah, and look, when you have a situation where you're flying kids in, I think that maybe they come into it, anticipating that, they're going to be on their game. The pressure's on them a little bit more than maybe it would be in a different tournament. And you can understand, kid taking it to heart if things aren't going their way when they do get an opportunity to shine. So maybe James Vanderpost is going to get a chance here as this event rolls on to make an impact on the mound for USA Scout.
And another thing, and in this situation right there, those coaches are also figuring out those players as well. Right, those guys have heard good things, maybe not have seen him play, or maybe watch this video and they don't know how they're going to react. And the coach is looking out for the best interest for the team and makes a call. Pitching change for USA Scout, as we mentioned, it's now Caleb Oath
Caleb from Verona, Wisconsin, 6'2", 155 pounds. Outfielder, third baseman, right-handed pitcher.
Good looking body.
Oh, he's going to get the call. Makes it 3-1, 76 on the inside.
I saw an arm earlier today when one of our 14-year-old players was playing. This guy was up to 87. A huge. I mean, the guy he was impressive. He was impressive. It was a nice, easy arm, big body, quads. He's filled out too, not just a tall, lanky 14-year-old guy. So it's awesome to be able to see those guys be able to throw really hard, but also this guy's 78, 77, and he's working the ball on both sides of the plate, and he's also going to be able to get some outs too.
Walks, the bases loaded, so the Warcats are threatening here. Nobody out. The bottom of the fourth, they trail 6-0.
Base running is huge here, especially with them being down 6, running later into the game, making sure that they understand where the outfielders are. And the biggest thing is telling the base runners that you're going back on a line drive. You're not freezing on a line drive. Right? When you freeze on a line drive, someone catches it, then they make a throw and you're out. But as soon as that ball gets hit on the line, we're taking a couple steps back, make sure we don't help the defense out.
Nice curveball in at 63 for strike one to the awesomely named Barron X line. Bases loaded, nobody out.
Uh-oh.
Shoots that one down the right field line, foul. Barron, 5'10", 155 pound, primarily a catcher. Pop time around 219, 231, but Warcats looking him to get something done with the bat in his hands now as they are looking to break through. Miss. Warcats eyeing a breakthrough here as they're searching to get something done offensively. Swing and a miss, goes down on strikes. Another nice breaking ball.
Yeah, that was a little slaughter action right there. I thought that was a heater the whole way until it got to the plate.
Caleb Oath picking it up here. One down.
How about the numbers these players are wearing, right? I'm seeing 33 and 44 right there. Like that's, I feel like back in the day, of course, the coaches always got a back in the day story, right? I feel like the numbers were more traditional 16-ish, somewhere in there, and then these numbers are getting crazy. You got a couple double zeros.
Yeah, I
now,
saw Micah
99s.
Nelson pitching for USA Scouts to lead things off. We're in 00. Gonna have guys with the infinity sign out there pretty soon.
That's exactly right.
Emojis on their backs and
highlighter arm sleeves. I love it. So it's good for those guys to be able to have a little fun and express themselves with their numbers and their color choice.
Yeah, when I was at the Prep Baseball All-American game in Wisconsin, Absolutely Ridiculous was there, and they had outfitted all the All-Americans with these custom-made sliding mitts, and that's a company really at the forefront of really kind of adding that whole new life to baseball gear. They've got gloves that look like ice cream cones. It's amazing.
Yeah, they came out with everybody came out with something, whether it was Wilson with the 4-leaf clover glove, and then those guys did the same thing. And obviously, like St. Patrick's Day is a Tiger Day and a half because the colors just link up. So we had a good time with that. So, but yeah, there's so many things out there right now. But super. And I'm sure I'm going on another coaching rant right here. But like those sliding mitts. Like if it's a sliding mitt, I just always assume that it should go on their left hand because that's what they're sliding into. And then there would be a diving mitt on their right hand to dive back into the bag. But everybody wears it on the right hand, and it's just confusing. And it takes 800 years to put it on. You're trying to give signs. They broke it wide open right here. Come on.
Well, Ethan O'Brien going to get a chance to put his sliding mitt on. He goes into third base with a 3-run triple. So nice piece of hitting as that just goes over the center fielder's head on its way to the wall. And Ethan O'Brien coming up big for Warcats, getting them on the board without question here, making a game of it in the bottom of the fourth inning, and just a nice piece of hitting from a kid that was being awfully patient at the plate.
Absolutely, game on, and then the triple celly. It looked kind of like the Angels in the outfield right there, so those guys are getting after it and feeling a little bit, and nothing like a little bit of confidence to believe you can be able to come back into the ball game. So that was a great piece of hitting, good for him.
So a 3-run triple makes it a 3-run game. We're now going to see Bryson Hall, the shortstop, coming in after Ethan O'Brien delivers that 3-run triple.
Also thinking about this, the game's starting to get a little bit tighter as the clock's starting to tick down. Got a guy in scoring position, and that'll score another run. So now, as a coach going into the game, I've got my plan. It's starting to get tight late. Am I going to have to throw a guy that I didn't want to throw right now to be able to secure the win?
Well, Bryson Hall comes through with an RBI single. He's going to turn things over to Gavin Rhodes. With one down here at the bottom of the fourth, 6-4. We saw Micah Nelson, the starting pitcher for USA Scout, leave after 22 pitches.
Important for this guy to be able to stay out of the middle, to stay out of that double play right here. By the way, this is fantastic. Like, I'm so excited to be here. I'm doing a little comment. This is always something I've always wanted to do, and I'm in here right now.
Making dreams come true.
Absolutely.
Runners
Again,
taking off for second, going to be in time. So 90 feet closer to another key run here for the Warcats. Down 2 in the bottom of the 4th inning.
Something a lot of hitters don't understand right here. There's a guy at second base with 1 out. Your job is to drive him in, not get him over. Right? A lot of guys kind of mess that up, and instead they get a little bit pushy. Uh-oh.
Rhodes shoots that one to third base. Going to have him in a rundown on his way to third.
First, he's got to go all the way to second.
Goes out of the baseline and gets it all back to first base. He's going to be back to the bag in time. Nearly got a double play there as they kept the runner. Nice job of the first baseman, though, trailing that runner the whole way, being in position to get him should the throw have been just a second earlier.
That's a base running mistake, right? As soon as that guy sees he's in the pit, he's got to be able to try to get all the way to second base. And then look, and you got 2 outs with a guy at second with an opportunity to be able to drive and run in and be able to chip away. Now you're going to have to try to steal a bag here or wait on some or a ball in the gap to be able to try to score from first to home. That's tough.
Well, there is 2 down. 2-run lead for USA Scout. Warcats have scored 4 in this inning. 3 coming off that Ethan O'Brien triple, and then he scores on an RBI single from Bryson Hall. Here's Caden Cordes. Runner is going to take off, going to be on the bag. Back to where they were just a few moments ago here with the runner in scoring position. But that second out certainly proving costly.
Absolutely, and I think I talked about it earlier when it was bases loaded. Base running's got to be big right here, especially when you're trailing. You can't give them outs, and especially with the ball hit in front of the runner. The runner's got to be able to see that ball through, understanding that he's probably not going to advance there anyway. But, just like I said, we're back to the same spot, just 2 outs.
1-1 misses. Runner's going to advance to third. So there's where your base running miscue does prove costly, right? Certainly they could have had that 5th run across the plate.
Catcher's going to be big here the rest of the way. You know, as a catcher's guy, we all have that no balls by you mentality. Not wild pitches. Good job right there, just smothering that thing. It's always tough blocking fastballs in general, right? Breaking balls, you got a little bit more time, but that heater tugged to the arm side where you got to really work the glove over there. That was a nice job by him back there. Yep, look at him. Good comms right there from the catcher. Hey, man, calm down. We're in good shape.
3-1 is the count. Taking off, runner is crossing the plate as runner at first as well. So now 6-5, Warcats making it happen here. They entered this inning down 6-0. So we're going to have another pitching change for USA Scout with 2 down in the inning. That's going to be it for Caleb Oath. He's going to give way to somebody we do not have on our roster, unfortunately. But walking into a tough situation, the Warcats have come alive in this inning.
You know, on the USA Scout side of this thing, you got to have a player that's telling everybody, hey man, it's okay. We're still in this thing. It's really easy to forget that you're still winning, right? So being able to have someone, a team leader, because you know when the kids hear it from the coaches all the time, it's just noise. after they hear it all the time. So being able to have a leader on the team, player-wise, to be able to step up and say, hey, guys, it's fine. We got it. Let's do this.
How tough can that be, though, on a group of kids that maybe don't get a lot of time together? Is that how difficult does it become to allow leaders to, I say, not necessarily emerge, but to kind of set the tone for a team?
It's really tough because relationships take time, right? And to be able to build a proper relationship is going to take time, and it's going to take trust. And guess what? It might be a guy that just had a bad day, and it's like, hey, man, let's go. And that guy takes it the wrong way, and then things can kind of go sideways from there. And that's, that's why I've always kind of been more of a regional-based guy and get these guys together. And when we're playing national teams like that, if it's late in the game in the 5th or 6th, I think the regional team has the advantage because they have more time together. Obviously the talent's outweighed by the national guys, but baseball's a team sport. And when it gets close and you got bunt coverages and you got, the feeling of, does someone actually have my back? And it's not just me, it's we. I mean, that's powerful stuff. Because the guys the teams that make it late, right, especially when everybody gets to a higher enough talent level, are the ones that stick together the most.
When they're taking off again, 3 stolen bases for the Warcats here in this inning. Have the runner retreat back to first. Maybe a little confusion here on whether or not it was a foul ball.
I like it, my man, getting an extra throw in or two. There we go.
All right, so we are going to give the runner second base.
Uh-oh. I know someone's definitely going to have some questions about that.
Certainly hard to tell exactly what happened, whether or not. You think it was a matter of whether it was a foul ball or whether they had given the sign for the pitcher that they were ready?
I think it might have been the foul ball, honestly. It was sitting here looking at it. When they decided to go out, they were like, okay, what could it be, right? There's options to it.
There's 2 down in the inning. Joe Odak getting an explanation here from the umpiring crew.
Yeah, because obviously the kid was in second base and he was safe. Right, so, I get it. The coach is like, you made a call, that's not it. But the kid definitely gets second base if it wasn't a foul ball. But again, my man number 5 taking advantage. That's the tough thing about relievers, right? Relievers have to throw strikes. They have to throw strikes. You cannot come into a tough situation throwing balls.
You got Dominic Courtaud, up to plate now with Caden Cordes at second base. Gets away from him.
Try to overthrow the breaking ball right there.
Matthew Himes in the on-deck circle with 2 down. 6-5 USA Scout lead. Warcats have come alive here in the bottom of the 4th.
Oh, hanging breaking ball.
Hammers that ball into left field.
I think he's camped. Yep. Just missed it.
Just missed it. Goes down to the fly out to left field, but USA Scouts got a game on their hands now. 6-5 is their lead. We've seen 5 runs from the Warcats here in the bottom of the 4th. Things getting interesting as we roll along. Julian Henson, man, thank you so much for doing this. I appreciate it, man.
Me, brother.
Yeah, best of luck to you and Memphis Tigers rest this weekend.
Absolutely. Appreciate you for having me.
We'll be back with more. You're watching the Battle at LakePoint.
First one I picked up, I just liked it the best. And like I said, I tried a lot of different companies, a lot of different models, and I fell in love with Old Hickory for sure.
Welcome back to LakePoint Sports. Cory McCartney along with you. 6-5 is the lead for USA Scout over Warcats baseball here in the battle at LakePoint. Appreciate Julian Henson from the Memphis Tigers coming in and joining us. Waiting on Avery Hunt to make his return here into the booth. Ethan O'Brien going to continue on the mound for the Warcats. And talk about a guy who's come in and come up big. Thrown 1 1/3 already for his team. Struck out a couple, and then, of course, he comes through with a 3-run triple that really broke things open offensively for the Warcats, and able to score 5 runs in the bottom of the 4th inning. Give this a much tighter affair than it looked like it was going to be when USA Scout entered the 4th inning up 6-0. So we'll see how USA Scout's able to respond here as they try to regain the momentum in this affair. It looked like it was squarely in their corner, but the Warcats certainly came alive. So they're going to lead things off in this inning with Brody Connor. He's going to be followed by Brody Lutz and C.J. Sumner. Connor sends that one foul. Big looping curveball misses at 59 for ball 1. I'm really impressed with what we've seen on the mound here from Ethan O'Brien. As he misses, make it ball 2. And here comes Avery Hunt in for his 2nd stint today. Shoots that one at right field, able to gather as it potentially looked like it was going to fly over his head, but Babinek able to make the catch for the first out.
Oh, goodness. Good to be back.
So you got a relief appearance from Julian Henson, who did a fantastic job stepping in for us. And not sure how much you've been able to follow things. The Warcats kind of came alive in the 4th inning. The dribbler to second base, going to be on the run, gathers throws in time for the 2nd out.
Absolutely, kind of an offensive explosion there in the bottom half of the 4th. Kind of get themselves back into it, give them a chance to win it here in the bottom of the 5th. I think we're getting pretty close on time limit if I had to take a guess, just with other fields finishing and stuff like that. So.
That's ball 1. It's Brody Lutz, or excuse me, C.J. Sumner. Sumner shoots that one back foul. Been really impressed with what we've seen out of Ethan O'Brien. Comes in relief and has looked fantastic. He's the same guy that had that 3-run triple for him in the 4th inning.
Absolutely. I mean, come in, kind of stabilize stuff, then also help yourself out at the plate. So, really good job by him.
He's got a great curveball and the CC Sabathia pants.
Love it. He's got good lefty comparison there.
2-1's the count. 2 down. Pitch to Sumner. Shoots that one to the left side. Third base gathers, throws in time for the out. Nice clean inning for Ethan O'Brien. 6-5 is the lead for USA Scout. We're rolling along. You're watching the battle at LakePoint. We'll be back with more shortly.
The Windscreen Factory, more than just windscreen. We're a full-service sports facility contractor. We manufacture windscreen for sports and construction, do fence repair and installation, and fabricate field netting and batting cages. In addition to manufacturing the products, we also install upon request. We make safety padding for backstops, rails, and walls, as well as full-service print shop with logo, branding, and signage capabilities. Please call us for a quote today.
We've got a 6-5 lead for USA Scout over Warcats baseball here in the battle at LakePoint. Cory McCartney along with Prep Baseball Georgia's Avery Hunt. Going to continue along here with the same pitcher USA Scout had, which unfortunately we didn't get a number on him, wasn't in the starting lineup. I always hate when we have those issues. That becomes like score. The rosters don't get turned into you ahead of time in full, so we don't always have all the information at hand. So we do what we got to do here. We've seen the Warcats come alive. They trailed 6-0 going into their last at bat in the 4th inning, come through with 5 runs and really spearheaded by Ethan O'Brien, who had a 3-run triple. First pitch of the 5th is skied down the right field line, and that's going to be hauled in. Nice play at first base for the first out, tumbles into the fence. That's when you need your teammate to make sure they're yelling fence at you as you're
absolutely
falling backwards. But nice job there to get the first out of the inning.
Really good play there at first base. That's not the easiest play for most first basemen, having to turn and run over, make the play over the shoulder. So really good job there to get that first out of the inning. So I think we're about 2 minutes left in this ball game, so this might be the Warcats' last chance.
That was Matthew Himes, who skied out to the first baseman down the right field line, and now we're back to the top of the order for the Warcats with Ben Babinick, Lucas Yoder to follow. This is the part of the order that really got it going last inning and set the stage for Ethan O'Brien. Miss makes it 1-1. Nice curveball, 63 miles an hour, makes it 1-2. Babinick 0 for 2 on the day. Swing and a miss, and he goes down on strikes. We may just be down to the last out for the Warcats here in the bottom of the 5th. Time certainly not on their side, as Avery had said. Here's Lucas Yoder, 0 for 1 on the day.
This is Noah Hopkinson on the mound for USA Scout. Did a little recon work and was able to figure out who this is on the bump for these guys. So
Noah Hopkinson, homeschooled from Alabama. Fastball up to 70. Where's that curveball changeup? Miss makes it 1-2.
USA Scout, I mean, this has been a quick inning. Might not get to the 3-minute mark, maybe.
Those are absolutely infuriating when you're a coach and time is not on your sides. That miss on the outside corner. You almost want the other team to just kind of go through a couple hitters. Yeah. Just delay it a little bit as you try to work that clock and make sure it's expired. Swing, a miss. It's now 1-2. Warcats down to their last strike. Spikes in front of the catcher is going to make it 2-2. This game became a lot more exciting than it looked like it was going to be with USA Scout up 6-0. Yoder skies that foul. And we've seen 6 runs on 4 hits for USA Scout, 5 runs on 3 hits for the Warhawks. Warcats, excuse me. Technically called the Warhouse Warcats, so you combine that, you can get the House Cats, Warcats, whatever you want to call them.
Really good job battling with 2 strikes here, kind of down to your last hitter. You know, he's trying to extend this at bat, find a way to get on base, and kind of keep passing that baton.
Yeah, Will Bluter, the opening pitcher for the Warcats, sitting in the on-deck circle. Skies that one foul.
Looks like we have fouled enough baseballs off that we are out of baseballs. Should be enough floating around here to grab one somewhere.
Well, everybody wants to take them home now.
They're new, they're fresh.
That's right. All right, the 2-2 to Yoder. Rips that one foul.
That one's foul.
Becoming a lengthy AB for these two. This next pitch will be the 10th of this at bat. So credit Lucas Yoder for just fighting his way and staying alive within this AB to keep his team's hope alive here with 2 down in the bottom of the 5th. Nice job working that count, getting that two-out walk, and keeping the Warcats alive.
Saw an uptick in velo there, kind of tried to just blow it by him at 78. He kind of went, that's the hardest fastball we've seen this inning from him, so tried to beat him inside and just missed upstairs.
So here is Will Bluter. We're trying to put the Warcats in position to walk this thing off.
And get a ball in the gap here, maybe tie this ball game.
How aggressive are you on the base pass if you're the Warcats here? Do you even think about stealing second and putting that runner in scoring position? Rips that one foul.
Middle of the order up, I mean, try to maybe get you a breaking ball count and, get a good jump over there, maybe swipe second, maybe goes to the breaking ball here after he fouls the fastball off. So if they're going to run, this might be the spot.
They've had 3 stolen bases, obviously, all in that big 4th inning. So we've seen the Warcats be aggressive on the base passes. Hopkinson throws over to first.
Looks like from the catcher's sign, they're going to go back to the heater here.
Check swing, did not go. Two ones the count, 2 down, 1 on. And that's in for a strike.
Now with a 2-ball, 2-strike count. Maybe you see the guy at first, try to get a good jump here.
Will Bluter and the Warcats down to their final strike. Shoots that one into center field on the run. Underneath it, makes the catch. Able to get out of that and strand a runner 6-5. Where it stands for USA Scout.
And that looks like that'll do it.
And that'll be ball game. USA Scout 6-5 winners. They got a big fight from the Warcats, who bounced back and scored 5 unanswered runs to get within 1. But that's the end of the ball game. Time was not on their side. We'll be back with more shortly. You've been watching the game of the day from LakePoint Sports.
Next. Next. Stop.
We got it?
No. Keep going.
Again.
Next. Next.
If you don't pick one,
Oh, you have time. Am I keeping you from your job? Next. I don't even know where I am anymore. Stop.
Do we finally have it?
Let's go back to the beginning.
Are you
Your
joking?
electric future customized. The fully electric Audi Q4 e-tron.
Making every second count. That is how I live. And this is how I hydrate. Body Armor Sport Water. Water for the athlete in all of us.
This is ready to go online. Any questions?
Yeah, I got one. How about the best network imaginable? Let's invent that.
That's what we do here.
Quick survey. Who wants their internet to work pretty much everywhere?
And it needs to run smooth, like super smooth.
Hey, should you be drinking that?
It's decaf.
Because we're busy women.
We don't have time for lag or buffering. Who doesn't want internet that helps AI do your homework even faster?
Come again?
Sorry, what was that?
Introducing the next generation 10G network, only from Xfinity. The future starts now.
Welcome back to LakePoint Sports. Cory McCartney, Prep Baseball, Georgia's Avery Hunt, 6-5 win for USA Scout here in the battle at LakePoint in our game of the day. We always, at this point in the proceedings, hand out our player of the game. First time we're going to go this route, though, and we're going to give it to a player who was not on the winning team. And I thought Ethan O'Brien was just fantastic for the Warcats today. Comes in with his team facing a 5-0 deficit. Comes in on the mound, throws 2 1/3, allowing 1 run on 3 hits with 2 strikeouts and no walks. And then he really gets things going offensively in that 5-run 4th inning for the Warcats with a bases-loaded triple. And you talk about a guy keeping his team in position to win a game. That's exactly what Ethan O'Brien did for the Warcats.
Absolutely. Came in on the mound, kind of settled things down, kind of gave his guys a chance to, get back in the game. And then he comes up in a big spot and delivers an RBI triple and, kind of gets the scoring going, kind of gets the guys going, and, he kept his guys in it. I know they ended up not, falling 1 run short, but, an excellent job from him, both on the mound and at the plate. He did everything he could to keep the guys in it and obviously help himself out at the plate. So.
Yeah, and you saw a little bit of everything from him on the mound, too. We saw the velo, but we saw a really nice shape to what was a really fantastic-looking curveball.
Absolutely. From the left side, almost a little more 12-6 action, so – it was a big speed differential from the fastball, so kind of keeps hitters off balance. So, really impressive repertoire what he has up there on the mound as well.
Well, the Jackson High School out of Ohio 2028 certainly came up big, although his team ends up being 6-5 losers to USA Scout in this game of the day. Here in the battle at LakePoint. It's been a fantastic day for us here. Another broadcast for you. Avery Hunt obviously joining me now. We had Julian Henson from the Memphis Tigers. So if you missed any of what Julian had to say, go back and check that out. Just some really great perspective on a guy who's been at the D1 level with the University of Memphis as a recruiting coordinator and now back on the travel scene. So some great stuff from him. But we ended up having a fantastic ball game on our hands as well. Things got really interesting there as the Warcats put together 5 runs in that 4th inning. As always, we will have these game of the days for you all season long here at LakePoint Sports, so make sure you're following along with us. That's on X, on YouTube, on Twitter. X is YouTube. You change the name on you, throw you all off, but on that platform as well as YouTube and Facebook. So I appreciate you joining us, and don't worry, we'll be back next week with another game of the day. Until then, we'll see you soon from LakePoint Sports.